Parish Council, May 10, 2017, meeting to order. The time is 6 p.m. We can stand for the prayer and pledge. I'll defer to Mr. Paul Andrews for prayer, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. God our Father, we have been made in your image and likeness, and therein lies the core of our dignity as human beings. In our busy and distracted lives, we can easily forget about the other, being aware only of our needs and difficulties. Through the power of your Spirit that lives within us as an example of Jesus, our guide, bring us to a greater awareness of those around us, open our eyes to see their gifts and talents, their problems and concerns, and lead us to become a community built on compassion and respect for the other. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Dugan, if you lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Tommy Collins.
Here.
Michael Landry.
Here.
Tommy Landry.
Here.
Lloyd Brown. Warren Goshasane.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here, I'm here.
Ricky Gonsalas.
Here.
Joe Dugas.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier. Robert Francis.
Here.
Marty Trahan.
Here.
Chad Mathurin.
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll move to public comments. First on the agenda is comments from the general public on non-agenda items. We did not get a request for any comments on non-agenda items prior to this evening. We'll move to comments from the general public on agenda items. I need a motion to go into public comment.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Brown,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Francis. Roll call.
Okay. All right, I'll look at it tonight.
That motion carries. First on the agenda is Mr. Troy Mathern, General Support Product Manager with Louisiana CAT, to provide comments regarding the proposed gas pipeline at the Port of Iberia. Mr. Craig Romero, you gonna stand in his place?
I'm just here to answer questions. I think everything was said at the last meeting, but if anybody has questions, that's the only reason I'm here.
I appreciate you coming in case there were any more questions. Did anybody else have any questions regarding that agenda item for Mr. Romero? Mr. Eugene?
All the parties are working together, okay? No complications?
Oh, yeah.
Everything worked
I
out?
was in Baton Rouge yesterday, and Mandy Mitchell, I don't know if you know Mandy from Lafayette, but she married a guy from New Iberia, but she's the Assistant Secretary of LED, Louisiana Economic Development, and she came meet me in the hall and said, look, I'm so glad the project came together. I said, Mandy, we couldn't have done it without y'all. Thank y'all very much. She was very appreciative, but they put up $450,000. She works for the guy, Don Pearson, who made the suggestion that we go with a larger line. So I think everything's in line. The planets are lined up. We're just trying to dot our I's and cross our T's.
Okay, thank you, Craig.
Thank y'all.
Let the record reflect Mr. Napier's present now. Any other questions for Mr. Romero? All right, we don't have any other requests from the general public on agenda items, so I need a motion to close public comment. Moved by Mr. Goshasane. Second by Mr. Paul Landry. Roll call. That motion carries. Reports, finance and administrative actions, there's none. Reports, parish or other governmental agencies, the administration to provide monthly status report on all grant projects, all in accordance with Resolution 2012-217, and building permit report for the month of April 2017. All of that was provided in our packets. Public Works reports, Public Works Department report for closed work orders dated April 17th to the 21st and April 24th through the 28th of 2017. Those were provided in our packets as well. Special business, there's none. Council member announcements. Are there any council members that have any announcements? Mr. Goshasane?
Yes, ma'am. I want to give a shout out to Public Works and the administration. They did a job well done on Lewis Street on cleaning up the commercial side, commercial canal side on the opposite side. I got a lot of compliments on it, and the visibility is much better coming from the neighborhood onto Lewis. So thank you, Mr. Richard and Public Works. Reserve.
Mr. Gosselin?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo how successful the legislative day was. Several of us visited Baton Rouge and were able to talk to the speaker and a few representatives and express our concerns and our needs for Iberia Parish. We were well received and thought it went well. Thank you.
Mr. Paul Landry?
You know, we're all like one big family here, and a lot of us know what goes on in everybody's lives with their children and things. And I'd like to give a congratulations to one of us that has been taking a child from the Belarus area for about 12 years now, and grew up in the Chernobyl area, and he's here, and that's Miss Natalie Broussard's been taking this child in for a number of years. I'm proud of that.
Thank you, Mr. Landry.
And at this time, we could see if maybe we have any other international people that's in the audience that would like to raise their hand
I believe we do.
or be embarrassed.
I think we have some special guests. Would you like to introduce our special guests,
Yes,
Mr. Landry?
first, in the yellow shirt, my brother Pat Landry. They live in Nova Scotia, Canada. And believe it or not, they're here to look at our sewer system. Next to my brother is Lucy Landry. She's a Canadian and an American, that's right. And on the far side is my mother, who's going to be celebrating her 90th birthday on Friday.
That's awesome.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank y'all
Alright.
so much for spending some time with us tonight, and happy birthday.
Good.
Big accomplishment. Any other council member announcements? Mr.
Last time I saw Patty weighed 100 pounds.
All right, I have a couple of announcements. Y'all should have all gotten in your email, but I just want to remind y'all that NACO is accepting applications for its presidential appointments for several positions. If anybody's interested in those positions, complete your application online by June 2nd of 2017. We'll probably remind y'all one more time for that. And we also formed the Charter Committee, and we're taking letters of interest or statement of interest, and those for the public are due on May 15th at 4:30 p.m. If you can let the clerk know, Miss Brenda, if you're interested in serving on that committee, we'd love to have some input from the public. So do that by May 15th. Parish President announcements, Mr. Richard.
Well, just for your information, auditors are still here, and they're going to be here for approximately another week. This past Monday, May 1st, we had the kickoff of the Iberia Crime Stoppers. It was a huge success. Craig was over there. We had many people was over there. I think he was even there, Paul. They had a lot of people there. It was a great turnout. In fact, I talked to Mr. Barra and asked him to come here at our next full council meeting and give a report to the parish council on Crime Stoppers to make everyone aware of what it is that we're trying to do in Iberia Parish. The month of May is Community Action Month. I'm going to be presenting a proclamation to Smile at their next board meeting on the 22nd. Today I did a proclamation in honor of what's called the Older Americans Month with Counseling on Aging. Everyone that was 90 years old and older was honored. And we have some people here. One lady was 105,
Wow.
102, one gentleman 100 years old. So we got some people living a long, healthy life here in Iberia Parish, which I think is that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Today I also met with the mayor and several others. We have a task force now in Iberia Parish for homeless. And this is our second meeting. It's gone very well. It's growing. We have a lot of participation. We have a lot of people that's concerned about the homeless that we have in Iberia Parish. And I think it's about time that we address that. In particular, we have a lot of homeless veterans that we need to try to address. And this is not only in Iberia Parish, this is on a national level. The John Lewis Road Bridge was open today. That's looked pretty good. The scheduled opening was actually later in June, but they did some good work and we're done there. And for the record, those that don't know, the Northside Road Bridge is open also, so we're moving along pretty good. I think that's all I'm going to report tonight. I think we've got a lot of things going on. Most of the council members, we stay in contact a lot, so they know what's happening here. So, any questions for me? Ask me now or ask me later.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Reshort?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reshort. Next, we'll move on to consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. Are there any consent agenda items that any council member wishes to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll take up all items, which is the support for the 16th Judicial District Public Defender's Office, the laptop for Smile, and allowing the execution of the system survey compliance questionnaire.
Move.
Moved by Mr. Gonsalas,
Second.
second by Mr. Olivier. Roll call. That motion carries. Moving to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption, summary number 4826, introduced by Warren P. Goshasan Jr., District 5, an ordinance proposing an amendment to Article 3, Section 3-07C of the Iberia Parish Home Rule Charter entitled Vacancies, to revise the current section to provide that an appointment shall be made by the governor if the council does not make an appointment as required by this section within the time allowed by Louisiana revised statutes, all to be drafted by legal counsel in accordance with state law. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Goshasan. Second by Mr. Dugas. Any discussion? Roll call. That motion carries. Resolutions introduced for public hearing.
What about 79? On the first page. Was that included?
That was in consent.
That was in the consent agenda.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption, summary number 66, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution ordering the calling a special election to amend the Iberia Parish Home Rule Charter pursuant to ordinances previously adopted, making application to the State Bond Commission in connection therewith, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Goshasan, second by Mr. Brown. Any discussion? Roll call. That motion carries. Summary number 80, introduced by the parish president, a resolution granting substantial completion to waterworks systems improvements, U.S. Highway 90 frontage road, east side, between Captain Cade Road and Coteau Road. All is completed by Bilm Construction, Inc., and as recommended by project engineers DeBrock Engineering. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Trahan, seconded by Mr. Gonsalves. Any discussion? Roll call.
Chad, they just don't know.
That motion carries. Summary number 81, introduced by Natalie Broussard, District 6, a resolution amending the 2017 Public Buildings Maintenance Fund budget in an amount up to $7,000 and to authorize the parish president to erect a sign in support of the United States military and flags poles with flags from each branch of the military in front of the main courthouse building, all to be funded from the Public Buildings and Maintenance Fund. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Unanimous
Moved
second.
by Mr. Michael Landry.
I'd like to make a substitute motion.
Okay, so before I'll accept the unanimous second, if we can go to Mr. Landry for
I think the
substitute.
I think the 7,000 was mostly for the stand. I think we could add another 3,000, go to 10,
Yes.
so that we could be able to put the names of the citizens or soldiers up on the sign with it at this time.
Yes.
And what we had discussed with Mr. Reshort was that we were going to put a plaque for each member of the military that graduates from boot camp and becomes sworn in after January 1st of 2016.
Exactly.
And so we need the public to start giving us those names. So if you've had a family member, we need the full name and what branch of the military they graduated from and the date that they graduated. And so your request is to add some funding so that we can start
Correct.
we'll have some in
names
the
and
account to
everything.
start putting those plaques up.
And for an update on this here, Madam Chair, actually, I'm working with the mayor, Freddie Court, and we hope to have this thing installed, hopefully, maybe by the end of May. We're really trying to do it as quick as possible. Of course, we have to order the materials, and we're going to install it with maintenance crew that we have here, along with Freddie and his crew from his personal company.
We're trying to get
We're
it
trying to
by
save,
Memorial Day.
we're trying to get it by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Trahan?
What about to the past veterans? Just one sentence of saying saluting the veterans of
what?
past wars.
Yes.
Past wars, for the veterans of past wars.
We wanted to
Just-
start off, like, the first plaque would be to all past, and then we
Okay.
start with the present names.
That shouldn't be a problem. We need to get back together on that, because I didn't try to price anything like that, because all this is gonna be
Just one
engraved. It's not
pack,
gonna,
just saluting.
not a big deal. And also, we want to mention POWs and MIAs. And also mention to Natalie that we want to list every branch, including the Coast Guard. So we're trying to do it right. You know, we're trying to do it quickly, but we have to do it correct.
The actual sign itself is gonna say Iberia Parish, proud supporter of United States military, past, present, and future. And then under there, you start putting the individual name plaques. So it's going to be recognizing everybody.
Now, if I had my choice, I would put 101st Airborne up there somewhere, because that's me. But I'm not going to do that. So.
Mr. Dugas, you had a question?
Yeah, so my question, I think you kind of touched on it. Past, present, and future. So where you start, you're putting one plaque that says all past, and the present would be,
The
It'll be a little
actual
plaque.
sign says past, present, and future. And
Right.
then the names of everybody who gets sworn in after January 1st,
Right.
2016 will start being
Right.
listed.
okay, that's what I was wondering, January 1st, 2000.
And my apologies, I meant to print that for everybody to have a copy of. I will do what I can I'll text this to y'all or something tonight so y'all can have a copy of it.
Okay.
I've been packing. So I'm leaving right after the meeting to go to my son's graduation.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a little distracted, so my apologies on that. So we have a substitute on the floor. Do I have a second to the
Unanimous second.
substitute? Unanimous second, if we can have roll call. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. Next, we have summary number 82, introduced by Ricky J. Gonsalas, District 8, a resolution amending the 2017 Economic Development District Number 1 fund budget to provide a funding contribution to the Port of Iberia for payment on the development of the Louisiana Caterpillar Gas Pipeline Project, with matching funds to be contributed by the state of Louisiana in the amount of $450,000, the Port of Iberia in the amount of $250,000, Louisiana Caterpillar in the amount of $250,000, and $250,000 from the Iberia Parish government to be funded from the Highway 14 sewage project line item, with Atmos Energy providing the installation of the pipeline project. All is requested by the Economic Development District Number 1. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Napier, second by Mr. Gonsalas.
Let me see.
Mr. Trahan?
We gonna get Larry to sign off on that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, cause I think that in committee.
In committee, it was requested that, I don't care who signs off.
Yeah,
We
I
just-
think he
The
does day to day. I
motion
think
needs
he
to have
should-
someone authorized
Yeah.
to.
No.
Oh, yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah,
as soon as
okay.
it's
I
done,
just
I'll
wanted to
sign
make
it.
sure, I just
Mis-
wanted clear.
Mr. Napier, is your,
Well, I'd like to sign, but I think Larry could sign it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
do you have
I'll
a
sign it as soon
problem?
as it's written.
No, I don't have a problem, Madam Chair. No, that's good.
So it would also be authorizing the parish president
President to
to
sign.
enter into the cooperative endeavor agreement.
Absolutely.
And that's good with the second?
Yes, absolutely.
Any further discussion? Roll call. That motion carries
Nice job,
unanimously.
guys. Thank y'all.
Summary number 83, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution authorizing the chairman to execute a contract with Little River Inn for catering of the 2017 Police Jury Association of Louisiana Region 3 meeting being held at Rip Van Winkle Gardens on September 28, 2017. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Paul Landry,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Joe Dugas. Any discussion?
Madam Chair, if you need anything from the administration, let us know.
I have utilized you a lot, and I
I know,
appreciate
but if
all
you
of
need
that,
anything
Mr.
else-
Richard.
If you need anything else. just
We
let me
will,
know.
and
All
I
right.
will be calling.
All right.
Any other
Natalie.
discussion? Mr. Gosselin?
Do we have to entertain a guest speaker? Do we have to?
We have not,
We have
addressed
not,
that yet.
But we have to.
Yes,
Remember that.
we do have to.
Okay,
the entertainment and the guest speaker, we're still working on.
okay.
Yes. Any other discussion? Roll call? That motion carries. Summary number 84, introduced by the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission, a resolution amending the 2017 Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission fund budget for interim adjustments to their budget, which includes the reappropriation of funding previously appropriated from public buildings maintenance for various expenditures. All is requested by the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Tommy Landry, second
Second.
by Mr. Eugene Olivier. Any discussion? Roll call. That motion carries unanimously. Summary number 85, introduced by the Fire Protection District Number 1, a resolution amending the 2017 Fire Protection District Number 1 fund budget to provide for reimbursement to FEMA for discrepancies on PW 108 in the amount of $5,975 and to provide funding for the purchase of a new server in the amount of $16,000, all to be funded from the fund balance previous year's line item. Any motion?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Chad Macheran, second
Second.
by Mr. Ricky Gosselin. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Mr. Dugas?
When the fire district goes out and makes these purchases, like a server for $16,000, are they going through Mike, through our procurement?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? Roll call. Motion carries unanimously. Summary number 86, introduced by legal counsel, a resolution authorizing the Iberia Parish government to acquire property and to institute expropriation actions necessary for construction of the bridge over Delahousie Canal on Pellerin Road project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Napier.
Second.
Second by Mr. Olivier. Any discussion?
This is long overdue, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Roll
push
call.
this through.
Passes unanimously. Summary number 87, introduced by the clerk of the council, a resolution amending resolution number 2017-40 adopted on March 8, 2017 to clarify that the preliminary and final approval was granted to the subdivision of property belonging to Dixie Investments LLC through Norris Raider located at 417 L. Dubois Road, District 13. Do I have a motion? Moved by Mr. Trahan.
Second.
Second by Mr. Olivier. Any discussion? Roll call.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
That motion carries, and I just want to let the record reflect that Mr. Landry abstained, and I have a motion. Oh, you did? I'm sorry. Carried unanimously. I have a motion to adjourn, so the meeting is adjourned